Hey, good morning. Today we're going to talk about AI as your course creation co-pilot. Now, I've been working in learning and development for my entire professional career, and e-learning first came on the scene when Al Gore invented the internet, and I was there to be a part of that adventure. And since that time, it's been quite fascinating to me how the evolution of technology has impacted what we do to create different types of learning. Now, AI, though, has had the biggest shift of anything that I have seen up to this point in time. And the way that I look at AI is it's my assistant. So it's very similar to if I was hiring a new instructional designer and they were just learning the job, but they needed really specific instructions in order to be successful. That's how I look at working with AI. Now, we all know about all the large language models that are out there. ChatGPT exploded. Then from there, we had Perplexity. And then we ended up, Google brought out Gemini, and there are more players out there. That's the first place that we want to take a look. In addition, because of where we are in the evolution of AI tools, there are new products coming on the market that are for specific applications, one of those being around course creation. Today, I'm going to focus on what you can do during the planning, research, and design phase. And then I'm going to put together some other programs in the future that will address how you can use a specific tool to be more efficient and effective in your work. There's so much to talk about. We got to keep it time bound today because I want to try to keep this to under 15 minutes. So here we go. Where does it all begin? Well, when you're getting ready to use any type of a new tool, it's great if you have a sense of what the methodology is behind that tool. Like we know how to add, subtract, multiply, and divide, and then we can pick up a calculator. But we still understand the logic of how all of that works. So when we move into creating a course, there are two places that people will start. One is I've got a great idea for a course and I want to build it out. And the other is I've got all of this content. I've got presentations, I have books, I have blog posts, just a plethora of content. And I want to think about, well, what do I do to take that and repurpose it into a course? So let's begin and let's look at what do you do if you're starting with a great idea? Let's pick the topic of leadership. So you're an expert in leadership and you come up with your own unique spin on what it takes to be a great leader. And that's as far, and so you're ready. You've got this idea, you've got this approach, you've done a little bit of work in that area, but you don't have maybe that breadth of content that you want to bring into it. So you could go out and you could pose the question to pick your LLM about, I would like to get an outline of a course about leadership. That's one part of it. But it's very important that you start and you say, as an instructional designer or an expert in course creation, please create an outline and learning objectives for a course on leadership. So in seconds, you get your outline. The next step is to take a look at the outline and go, okay, what's missing? And more importantly, what is your unique spin on the topic? So the heavy lifting is done and it gives you the opportunity to be creative. This is quite similar to if you were to choose to buy somebody's program, a generic program on leadership, referred to as often white label content, and go, okay, now what do I do with this? Now, some people will take that content, whether it's somebody else's course that you can personalize or the outline from ChatGPT, just to pick one, and they stop there. What I want to encourage you to do is to really work through what can you do to make it special, make it like you, particularly if you're working in a broad topic like leadership, because there's lots of information out there around leadership. But what makes you unique? What makes you special? Why should people adopt your methodology over someone else's? So then from there, then you start asking for the different components. Let's say you want a video. You can then ask for a video script. And in this context, you're going to want to say, as an experienced script writer, please create a video on this topic. So you would go through each item in the outline. Then you would say, as an instructional designer, please write a quiz. As an instructional designer, please give me some interactive exercises that I can use. And you're going to want to add to each of those statements, what type of course are you building? Is it an in-person workshop? Is it going to be delivered via Zoom? Or is it going to be e-learning content? Because each of those delivery platforms has constraints and opportunities that you want to work within. So that's how you look at it if you're coming at it with an idea. The other way to come at it is if you already have some content. So you can provide chapters in a book, you can provide a presentation and have it go through and come back and say, okay, let's say we're going to take this book and we're going to turn it into a course. You can, then it would go through chapter by chapter and evaluate the information. And from there you would say, I need a video, I need interactive components, and I need perhaps a quiz. What's challenging here for some people is there's a fear about putting your content out there, that suddenly it becomes available and maybe you want to hang on to your intellectual property. And there's two ways to look at that. One is you can say, I'm one of a bajillion people and it's probably okay. Or you may say, no, I want to protect this. And there are new tools out there that allow you to just work within your content. And one that I came across is called Notebook LM. Now, I haven't gone through and evaluated this yet, but I saw a demo of it and it looked quite promising as a tool to use to just work with your content and keep it secure. So that's that part of the equation. Then you want to step back and say, okay, well, where do I go from here? And this is your moment where you feed the information in, you make the request of what you want to get back, and then you step back and you look at what can you do to personalize it, as I said before, to make it unique to you. Because I believe that the power in AI is that it saves us a lot of time when we're trying to work through what we want to create. We don't have to stare at a blank sheet of paper anymore. We can use these tools to give us a jump start. And then we bring in our creativity. And to me, that's the best part of it, is that I don't have to spend hours and hours coming up with what the content is going to be, how to structure it and how to organize it, because I'm going to get that type of a scheme from my large language model. Now, a couple of tools that I will talk about today that have made a big difference for me. One is called Quillbot, and there's also Grammarly. And now I run everything that I do through those two tools to ensure that everything is proofread, everything is grammatically correct before I submit anything. And that's been a big game changer for me. I don't have to consider hiring a proofreader to go through all of my work because, frankly, I get so close to it, I can't see straight anymore. And to have another set of eyes on it is going to pick up everything that I missed. Another tool that I found to be very powerful in this phase is, let's say I want to get a transcript from a video. Well, I've uploaded files to Descript, and then it takes it and it turns the video into text, and I can go through and I can edit in the text. I don't have to do frame by frame editing, which is great if I just want to clean something up and just get rid of any kinds of bloopers and then take it from there. Now, there are more and more tools coming every day. And what I plan to do is share with you as I discover new tools that have made my life easier so that you'll be able to make your life easier as well. But keep in mind that behind all of this, there is a level of expertise that's needed to think about everything from what is the instructional design methodology and approach, because that, frankly, I believe is what's missing in a lot of courses that entrepreneurs are creating today. There's just, let's just go and let's just have at it, instead of stepping back and thinking through from idea to implementation. How do I approach the content? What questions do I ask of AI along the way so that I can get to the finish line as quickly and as painlessly as possible? So if you think about putting everything into a logical flow, your life will be a lot easier. Now, what I want to share with you today is I've got a very short ebook that's called 8 Easy Steps to Create Training That Sells. And in a moment, you'll see the QR code for that, so you can download that. And if you're interested in some of the prompts that I've put together for specifically applying AI to the instructional design process, the course creation process, whatever you want to call it, please send me a direct message and I'll make sure that you get a copy of that as well. So that's what I've got for you today. And I look forward to seeing you next week on Tuesday for the third show in the series. And I have to just share with you, I'm relieved that my dog decided to keep quiet during all of this. So I look forward to seeing you next week. Have a great rest of your day. And thanks for giving me 10 minutes of your time.